Allah made camels with great big humps. Allah made elephants with long, slinky trunks.
In a suburb of Istanbul, Kiri and Orhan Öztürk are teaching their kids about their Muslim faith. Kiri is American and Orhan Turkish. They met while Orhan was studying in the United States and were married in 1992. Kiri converted to Islam shortly after that. They moved to Turkey 3 years ago and say they're happy to be raising their kids in a Muslim environment.
It's so nice to be part of a community that you can share, and then you don't need to constantly be explaining why you're doing things, especially during Ramadan when you're fasting. It's so nice to have everybody else be fasting at the same time.
It's a great feeling. Whenever you want to go, you go, do your prayer, and you belong to a community. Mm-hmm. In this case, you are basically segregated.
It may be a Muslim environment, but Turkey is officially secular. And there is intense public debate here about how to maintain that often tricky balance.
Trying to figure out what a non-Arab, practicing Muslim secular country should look like, how it should behave, and I don't think everybody agrees yet on what that image is or how to put that together.
Partly in Europe, partly in Asia, Turkey has long been a bridge between East and West, but it doesn't fit neatly in either.
When you look from the western side, Turkey is a very eastern country. When you look from the eastern side, Turkey is a very western country.
The modern Turkish Republic was founded in 1923 by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, who imposed a strict secular nationalism in an effort to westernize the country.
Ataturk promoted aggressively a notion of secularism, which was a very absolute separation of religion and the state, although the state did control religion.
John Esposito directs the Center for Muslim-Christian Understanding at Georgetown University and has written widely about Islam and Turkey in the Middle East. He says all too often, secularism translates to hostility.
If you look at secular elites in Turkey, their notion of secularism is not simply separation of church and state. They basically have a very negative attitude towards religion itself.
Oral Jalishlar is a columnist at the leftist daily newspaper Cumhuriyet. He says the secularists don't want to see Turkey become a theocracy like Iran, which imposes strict Islamic law.
Iran example always threatened Turkey's people's mentality. They thought that someday, if we don't be careful, Turkey will be Iran. And because of that, the secular people are afraid from that. And because of that, they are very careful about Islamic movement, political Islamic movement in Turkey.
A more openly Islamic view has been on the rise in this democratic state. The prime minister and current ruling party come from a religious political movement and often clash sharply with the secularists. And people like the Öztürks say those clashes filter down to average Turks, sometimes presenting challenges in living out their faith in their daily lives.
In a way, sometimes it's easier in the States than here.
Yeah, I agree.
Although we are a secular country and, over 98-99% Muslim, but we go by the secularism very rigidly.
There's sort of this message that's going around that to be Muslim, to practice your religion is sort of backwards, old-fashioned, and that to move forward is to be modern, to be more like the West.
One of the fiercest conflicts is over wearing the Islamic headscarf. Although it's common to see women with the traditional religious head covering, Turkey has a long-standing ban on wearing headscarves in any public buildings, including government offices and universities. Kiri chooses not to wear the scarf, but she sympathizes with those who do.
Women who choose to wear a headscarf cannot go to school, cannot get jobs, cannot enter many government buildings.
They can get jobs only in the private sector, not the...
In the private sector, but even in the private sector...
In the private sector it's harder.
Most of the private sector won't hire women with scarves for fear that their corporation might be interpreted as being a religious corporation.
Headscarves are accepted at Zaman, a daily newspaper that promotes Islamic values. Columnist Karim Balji says the ban fuels resentment.
Now Turkey is trying to redefine its identity, and this identity will never and shall never be a totally secular country. Turkish secularism needs to accommodate religion also. I think people will be more peaceful when they are able to express their religious identities more and openly.
The Turkish government oversees Muslim religious activities through an Office of Religious Affairs, currently headed by Ali Bardakoglu, who met with Pope Benedict XVI last month. That office hires and pays the country's imams and writes the weekly Friday sermon they're supposed to deliver. Only 3 minority faith groups are officially recognized: Armenian Orthodox Christians, Greek Orthodox Christians, and Jews. All 3 technically have freedom of religion, but there are many restrictions. For example, they are not allowed to train new clergy. Patriarch Mesrob II leads the Armenian Orthodox Church, Turkey's largest religious minority.
We are citizens of Turkey, and we do have certain issues that we would like to be solved, like having a seminary, teachers of language, teachers of religious knowledge, and these are some of the difficulties we face.
Roman Catholics and Protestants don't have official legal status but are allowed to operate. Pope Benedict and the European Union have been pushing Turkey to grant more rights to its minorities. The EU has also raised concerns about the freedom of expression, especially Article 301, a vague law that makes it a crime to, quote, insult Turkishness. Among those prosecuted under the law was novelist Orhan Pamuk, who won this year's Nobel Prize for Literature. The charges against him were dropped on a technicality. Columnist Oral Jalishlar has spent a total of 7 years in prison for things he's written. He says the situation is better today.
Yes, I'm criticizing always, today also. I don't make any backward step. Yeah, I can write what I think, but it creates sometimes some problems.
Turkey has already made many reforms sought by the EU, and Jalishlar says there's growing resentment that the EU isn't giving Turkey a fair shake.
There are so many problems between EU and Turkey, and some of them are coming from Turkey, inside Turkey, but some of them are also coming outside. For example, some EU countries are not acting fairly to Turkey.
John Esposito believes it comes down to cultural and religious differences.
Within a 30 or 40-year period, Islam has gone from being relatively invisible in Europe and America to basically being the second or third largest religion. So that's an issue. B, in many European countries, in addition to religion falling off, you have a growing anti-immigrant attitude.
Despite the issues of concern, Turks across the spectrum believe their system can be a model for other Islamic countries.
Turkey can be an example, and I think is an example, is a sample Muslim secular country that Western world wants to see, including US and EU.
Turkey certainly isn't the only country debating the role of religion in society. How this ancient crossroads between East and West ultimately resolves those debates will reverberate well beyond these borders. I'm Kim Lawton in Istanbul.